my name is Emma, and today I'm going to be doing my September reading wrap-up. Before I get into all of the awesome books that I read in the month of September, I do have two bookmarks that I just got in the mail today that I'm really excited to show you guys. The two bookmarks that I really want to show you guys are from Otter Nonsense Designs, which is run by none other than Jamie from emmmabooks here on YouTube. I've always personally been a fan of Jamie's channel, and as soon as a fellow booktuber reached out asking me to talk about some of her new products from her startup shop, I was all for it. The first bookmark is a Harry Potter design that says until the very end and has the prongs stag on the corner. What I love about this bookmark is the colorful watercolor. I am obsessed with watercolor bookmarks. I don't know why, but whenever I am online looking at other bookmarks, the watercolor ones are always the ones that I am super drawn to. It's just very springy and pretty, and I really love the coloring on it. Despite being a die-hard Harry Potter fan, I actually only have Harry Potter bookmarks that I've gotten from events. So I have one that's like the Cursed Child, and I have one that's like the 10th anniversary, but I don't have any really pretty artsy bookmarks, which are obviously my favorite, so I'm really thankful that I have this one now. And Jamie was also kind enough to send me this really awesome custom bookmark that I feel like I'm really conceited for loving, but it says emmmabooks. And I love it. Again, it has this beautiful pastel watercolor background, and what I really like about this is the font isn't perfect. Something that I've always really liked about graphics that you can order online is when they look very homemade and not so perfect, like it was just picked off of Photoshop. I really like that it has like this specific touch that's definitely very individual to each shop, and so I really love this bookmark. So all these bookmarks are obviously very beautiful. As you can see, I am also a total snob when it comes to the quality of bookmarks, and these are very stiff and they're not going to rip easily, which is very important to me as a reader. And so just thank you so much, Otter Nonsense Designs, for sending me these two bookmarks. If you would like to check out more of the designs they have, I will leave all of the social media links below and where you can purchase some if you'd like to check them out. But thank you again, Jamie, for sending me these bookmarks. Now let us move on to the wrap-up. Now in the month of September, I have read 5 books. 3 of those were audiobooks and 2 of those were physical books, and I'm really excited to talk about them with you guys. The first audiobook I listened to in the month of September is Hollow City by Ransom Riggs. I read Miss Peregrine's during Booktubeathon 2014, and I had not continued with the series since then, and as the movie was coming out and I was just getting more and more interested in this series despite not loving the first book, I really wanted to pick up Hollow City, and I did. My Goodreads app isn't loading, so I can't remember exactly what rating I gave this book, but I believe I gave it 4 stars, which is higher than my rating of Miss Peregrine's. I really enjoyed the story. One thing I didn't realize while listening to the audiobook, I wouldn't actually have the experience of looking through the photos, which is something I really did like about the first book, so I'm definitely going to have to sit down one day and just look at all of these photos and make connections to the story. But I did enjoy Hollow City a lot more than the original first book. The narration was not the best, but I'm the type of audiobook listener where I really get used to narrators' voices very easily, and I don't let that impact the story for me, so it's something that's just like an acquired taste. Like I said, I did enjoy this book more than Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I just felt it was more fast-paced and there was more action in it, which I really enjoyed. The ending also left me on the edge of my seat, so I definitely have to pick up Library of Souls very soon, but I'm super happy that I finally motivated myself to pick up the second book in this series so I can finally finish it soon. The next book I read in the month of September was The Masked Truth by Kelly Armstrong. This book follows 2 main protagonists, one being Riley, who one night is babysitting, and before the parents can even leave the house, they are brutally murdered right before her eyes. And it is also about a boy named Max who is dealing with the effects of a life-altering diagnosis. And so both Max and Riley are in the same therapy group, and they kind of go to this over the weekend retreat for people in their therapy group where they're like shut off from society, no distractions, just so they can go through more of a healing process. As if these kids already could not catch a break throughout the weekend, at the very start, they are actually taken hostage by these 3 men in masks. So it's all about this group of teenagers who are already suffering from these traumatic experiences, but are also running for their lives inside of this abandoned warehouse for a therapy retreat by these people that are trying to take them hostage. I went into this book having high expectations because that synopsis sounded so interesting to me. It had a lot of elements that I was really interested in, like mental health and therapy, and also thrillers and criminal activity. Unfortunately, this book kind of fell flat for me, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. There was a lot I enjoyed about it, and I did have fun reading it. There were were just a lot of problems I did find with it. I did leave a very, very long Goodreads review that is totally spoiler free unless you want to unclick these spoilers, but I'll leave that in the link below if you'd like to see my full thoughts on it. Probably my favorite thing about this story was the portrayal of mental illness. As all of you know, mental health in books is very important to me, and so specifically for one of the characters and a few of the others, I just felt that the disorders were very well represented, and that's something I can always appreciate in a book. Probably my least favorite thing about this book was the setting. I just could not get past how ridiculous some of the things in this book were and why nobody picked up on it. Yes, everything is explained in the end, but it does not make up for the fact that I spent half of this book just like slamming it against my head, trying to understand why nobody was realizing how ridiculous it all was. In that Goodreads review, I do go into very specific detail, yet staying spoiler free, on why the setting was just preposterous to me and I just could not get past it. All of that is in the description in that Goodreads review if you'd like to hear more of my thoughts. But I definitely think it was worth the read, and I would be interested to see how other people would interpret it. So if you have read The Masked Truth, I would love to know what you think. The next book I read in the month of September is Rod Wars by DJ Hoskins. This book was actually sent to me by the authors for a spoiler-free review, which is coming soon to my channel. This is another book that I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. Again, I had a lot of fun reading this book, and I found myself wanting to read Rod Wars more and more and more, but there definitely were issues that I found in it that I will be discussing more in that review. Rod Wars is a young adult sci-fi novel that firstly follows a boy named Alex who has lived a privileged life for the most part. His family's rich, he's really well off, but an accident actually drops him into this alternate world. Very quickly, Alex gets wrapped up in this magical world that is on the brink of war, where he meets this girl named Melissa. Melissa is essentially a genetically modified being. She was born in a laboratory in order to be the highest of all power. The world of Kaiga, which the story takes place in, is very heavily influenced by ranking of magical power, and so when the tippy top of the pyramid, when that person passes away, there needs to be another one to fill their space. So Melissa was basically born to be that power. So this book focuses on Alex's transition into the world of Kaiga, getting adapted to the environment, discovering magic, which he always thought was fake, actually plays a massive role in his life, and also interacting with Melissa, who is at the top of the food chain that they are now forced to spend time together. And it's all about these two characters and how they kind of play into this ongoing war that's happening in this world. And it's a very, very interesting novel. I think my favorite thing about this book was the plot. I was just very, very invested in the world and the characters and how everything was playing together. But I think my least favorite part of this book is that a lot of it was very underdeveloped, and I felt like there could have been a lot of work done and it had the potential to be really, really great, and there are definitely things that I think just needed a little bit of improvement. All of that will be discussed in that review, which is coming very, very soon to my channel, but ultimately I really enjoyed my time reading Rod Wars, and I'm very thankful that the author sent it to me. And the last two books that I listened to on audiobook for the month of September is Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, and oh, I actually picked up the right ones for once. I thought I like switched them on accident. By Sarah J. Maas. I've been talking a lot about Sarah J. Maas in the past couple of months. I have an interview with Sarah, and if you would like to see it, I will link that in the description below, and then I just hold all of her books. I drove 3 hours to Pennsylvania to attend her launch event for Empire of Storms, and there's just been a lot of Sarah J. Maas stuff going on in the past couple of months that has really motivated me to pick up this series. Those of you who have been following me for a very long time would know that I did start the Throne of Glass series back in 2014, but I was not the biggest fan of them. I couldn't tell if they put me in a reading slump or I was in a reading slump while reading them. I just ultimately did not enjoy the books to the capacity that I felt like I could, so I finally decided to give them another chance. I gave both Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight 5 out of 5 stars. For Throne of Glass specifically, I enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time because I really, really loved Throne of Glass the first time I read it. And while Crown of Midnight was not like my least favorite book in the entire world, I just felt like I was in such a bad mindset to actually read the book compared to where I am now. Back when I was 18 years old and just discovering YA for the first time, I was very, very focused on ships and relationships. And so when I first read Crown of Midnight, all I could focus on was the fact that Kale was just moving in on my Dorian and Selena territory, and I was not feeling it. So I was very, very resentful for this book from the start when I first read it. As I'm just going into this as a more developed reader and somebody who is more open-minded, I definitely have a lot of different opinions on it. I did enjoy it a lot more, and the story definitely stuck with me more because when I first read it, I definitely forgot a lot since then. All in all, I'm really, really happy that I'm picking up these books for a second time. I'm currently listening to Heir of Fire on audiobook. Haven't finished it yet. Halfway done. Heir of Fire is what made me stop reading the series originally, so we'll see if I'm able to continue this time. It's like another TID moment for me. For those of you who have been on my channel for a while, you know how that whole story went. So I feel like I'm just going to have a similar experience now where when I'm in a better mindset to read the books, I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. So I'm really happy I'm giving them a second chance. Alrighty, so that is it for my September wrap up. Thank you again, Jamie from Ottawa Nonsense Designs, for sending me those 2 awesome bookmarks. And again, those links will be in the description of this video. Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite read of September. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!